Hi there, Dave Levine here. It's time for today's reflections from a people developer and a podcast host. It's quite a monumentous day for me, really. It's the second day of the week, which is not monumental in many ways, but what it is the day when I recorded my 50th episode of the Sports Stories podcast, which is quite some going, really, and it'll be foolish of me not to take some time just to reflect on the journey that I've been on over the last 12 to 14 months or so in terms of actually finding guests, contacting them, engaging with them, preparing them, then delivering the actual conversation, having the conversations with them, and learning through that process, and then the editing, marketing, and everything else that goes with it. It's been quite some journey, and I must say that I'm really, really delighted and proud that I've got this far. I really set my stall out. I opened the can of worms in terms of what I'd committed to, and I must say I think I've delivered on that and more. So I'm really pleased that I don't want this to be the end now. I don't want to bail out and say this is as far as I'm going to go. I want to evolve it and move it on. It's been quite some journey, and I think my reflections are that I've given a lot of energy to giving it a good shot. I've learnt a huge amount, and I've got something back in return in terms of making new connections. I've learnt a lot from lots of people. It's reaffirmed many of my ideas and my thoughts, but I've also spent a lot of energy for no financial reward, which it's not the be all and end all, but it's really made me begin to focus on the value that you get from something that you put time and energy into. And money is tight, and money and financial reward is important to keep everything else going. So it's a fine balance. Now, in terms of some of the guests that I've engaged with and spoken to, I'm really delighted in terms of reflecting on the quality of the guests who have joined me, people that I've known, but also I've made some really great new contacts and reached out to people that I don't know, and really stretched myself and put myself in an uncomfortable place in terms of not knowing quite where we're going to go, and also putting myself out in the limelight a little bit more than I possibly previously would have done. So I'm really delighted in that sense. And some of the key themes that have also dropped out for me is around kind of performance environments and professionalism, and simple things but are crucial things in terms of work ethic, planning, attention to detail, driving through your passion, making sacrifices. These are all kind of key threads that have come out, and it just reinforces the fact that people's life stories and journeys are not linear. They're not straight lines in any way. Nothing's been pre-planned and lived out. It's always been a little bit rocky. It's gone over many obstacles and round different corners and so on for pretty much all of my guests. And often there seems to be real key themes and stories around adversity, things that have gone pretty hard or gone wrong or have been very tricky for the individual, and how they've used that as a kind of a motivation or a stepping stone or a trampoline onto whatever comes next for them. So really key themes, but I think it's also time for me now to move it on a step and go again, keep it going, but also freshen up. So those are some of my reflections in terms of where I'm going to go with the podcast. And my last guest today was a gentleman who I've got to know over the last couple of years, and I'm really pleased that Simon joined me as my 50th episode, and he has a real heartfelt, truly up and down kind of story where he's had some really huge highs and some devastating and very, very difficult lows, where some of the drive for success has really got in his way, and it's been the contributor for him being in quite a poor mental state or mental place, and his well-being not being so good. It's lovely to hear his story and how he's navigated through that, but it really illustrates for me again what is success, what is happiness, and I think going into the podcasts, I really concentrated quite a lot on the idea of happiness being kind of an easy throwaway word, but it's amazing how many times it comes back into play where people are talking about, what does happiness really mean for them and how do they navigate towards that. And it's often not around having huge amounts of finances or having big sort of profiles and egos. It's often some of the more fundamental basics in life about, spending time with family and friends and enjoying what they do and making a difference. So there's some real key messages coming out for me, and it's a really useful time, I guess, to reflect. And I guess with it being a kind of a milestone, I really want to step on from here and take my next step and really keep challenging myself, keep putting myself out there, keep looking to make the right differences. And, the financial trappings that I need to keep maintaining the lifestyle that I would like to do and maintain the difference I'd like to make will attract to the work I'm doing. So a good day, carrying on with my habits. Thanks for joining me, listening in, whoever you are, wherever you are. I hope you take some solace from it and some insight. And I look forward to you joining me again at a later stage. All right, take care and have a good day. I'll see you soon. Bye.